Hey, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to 100% Richard. This is going to be my newest clip, I guess, whatever we're calling them, our podcast or whatnot. And so I just wanted to start out with a couple of things. If you don't have any place to go for Easter, if you don't have a church that's doing something online, or even if you do, go make sure to be a part of your Easter experience. And but if you don't, and you need a place to go and check out, go to Generations Church. Their Easter experience is going to be on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. If you don't have a church home, and just go check them out. Their production value has been really good, and there's a huge shout out to Pastor Troy and Pastor Jen over at Generations Church. I serve in the Temecula campus, and it's been just a blessing to be able to have church online, and their Easter experience is going to be fantastic. It's called Death Lost, Love Won, and you got to believe that. Death is currently losing, and I just can't say that enough. Death lost, and love won. Jesus is love, and he conquers death. So make sure to check them out. They're going to be on YouTube. I believe they're on Facebook Live, and they're going to be on Instagram Live, and I'll have a link in the description down there for their YouTube page. So make sure to check that out on Sunday morning, and just be prepared for that. Another thing, check this out. Brand spanking new. Get to use it for the first time today. Just showed up like 4 hours ago, and this is a red microphone. And I didn't buy it just because it's red. I checked out all the reviews. It got really excellent reviews. It's made by Suntronics. It's called the Podcast Pro, and it's so far so good. I'm enjoying it. We'll find out how it sounds after this, but it's going to do a great job for me in this podcast, and it's red. This thing is red. It's sexy red, and this is the coolest thing ever. So to me, it is whatever. And a couple other quick things. I got a couple of requests for guests. So a couple of people out there, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching on YouTube. And hi, and Chris, as soon as I figure out how to get 2 mics on this rig, I will have you over here, and we will do whatever it is that we do. I know Chris mentioned talking about wrestling. I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I think that would just be awesome to just talk about that kind of stuff and just have a conversation. And if you're not a wrestling fan, don't watch that one. Whatever. If you are a wrestling fan, watch that one. So I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I think that would be so cool. Chris, that's a great idea. We want to do that. And hi. I think you and I could have a great conversation, and I think it would be awesome. So if you're listening, make sure to like us, to like 100% Richard, and subscribe to 100% Richard. That really helps to get me out there on bigger platforms. So make sure to do all that. And so that's my plugs for today, and which I'm getting used to doing this. Like making sure I plug everything that I need to plug, and Suntronics did not give me this for free, so that's not why I plugged it. I think it's a really excellent microphone. I've done a lot of research before I bought one, and this one it looks like it's going to do the job with where I'm at, and what I'm doing as I grow doing this podcast thing. So once again, 100% Richard, and here we go. So if you've been at home, which I know you have, some of us, or most of us, are not quote-unquote essential workers. And so therefore we're not at work. So my wife's essential, but she's been working from home. She's a teacher, and she's on spring break right now, so she's getting kind of a break, and which is good because it was very stressful when she got started doing all this online stuff and learning to do it and making it happen. And it's been fantastic for her. And my job normally is I'm an armed security guard, so I would be essential for the position that I carried, but I kind of trashed my knees, and I've been on temporary disability. So once that's over with, guess what? I get to go back to work, or whatever's going to happen there. So, so if you're not considered essential, you've probably been sitting at home, literally at home, and only being able to go out for groceries and stuff. That's been my detail. I'm the supply guy, and so I'm the one that's had to go out and get toilet paper, stand in line, wait for the whatever's out there for us to pick up and get. And I know in times like these, sometimes we might feel, I don't know, a little like nothing. And when we get to feel that way, it's kind of uncomfortable. We're like, man, I'm not doing anything. I'm not working. I don't feel like I'm supplying, especially dudes, guys, men. My heart's like, man, if I had a job where now suddenly I don't have a job, I would be feeling really, I supply for my family. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I always felt like I'm supposed to do. And to suddenly not be able to do that, or even single moms out there that are like, I don't have a job right now. One of my daughters, she's not considered, she works retail in a clothing store, and she's not allowed to go to work, and they just basically laid her off. And so she had to apply for unemployment for the first time in her life. And so there's a lot of things out there that might make you feel like, hey, I thought I was important, and if we haven't already, we will at some point. I can almost guarantee it. We'll feel at some point that we're nothing, or that we have nothing, or that nothing's coming. Nothing can be a feeling of hopelessness. Nothing can be a feeling of weakness. But if you see nothing can be the beginning of something. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast. Is this has been on my heart for a long time, and I haven't had time, to do it. Where come to find out, I've had a lot of time to do it, and finances are there to help us get this set up right now. So we can really kind of feel like out of nothing can become something, and for nothing is impossible with God. Jesus said this in Matthew 19:26. But Jesus looked at them and said to them, with men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. So nothing can actually be the beginning of greatness. And think about that for a minute. Just I'm like, man, nothing. God created the world from nothing. And even if you're an atheist, you have to assume that something had to be there in order to create the Big Bang or whatever theory you believe in. And you have to really stop and go, man, from nothing became something. God created the world from nothing. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. There it is, from nothing to something. So you could stop and go, you know what? I'm feeling uncomfortable. I don't like where I'm at. I don't like this situation. And some of us might be getting upset or angry. Our spouses are closer than ever before, and sometimes that can cause issues. Not at my house. So everything's okay there in that sense. But we've kind of had to learn to get along. I share an office with her, and now she has to do this online stuff, and I'm like, well, I really want to just go in there and take care of some stuff. And she's like, but I got a student, and I'm like, that I have to have on Zoom and this and that. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm starting this thing, and so we have to kind of figure out our time and our places without getting upset at each other. So I could sit on the couch and go, well, I'm not important, because I'm not essential, or I guess I'm just nothing. And you can really kind of get that feeling during the season. And just to be aware, I think that Jesus actually may have felt like that before he went to the cross, because he went to the Rock of Gethsemane and he said, God, Father, take this cup from me. And then he turned around and said, not my will, but your will. So that kind of tells me that, he may have felt like, I really don't want to do this. I'm not comfortable doing this. I don't want to go there. But he actually turned around and said, I'm going to do it anyway, So we have to really get up. And something I've learned through this process over this past couple of months and things like that is that I do everything I can to get up and get dressed in the morning. Not my uniform for work, but I try to get up, I get dressed, and I'm going to go through my day and do that. So that really helps me personally. So that may be something. Don't lounge around in your PJs. Get up. If there's something you have to do around the house, I had to install doorknobs, so I put new doorknobs on the house, and now 2 of my kids can't get in because they don't have keys yet. Oh wait, sorry about that. So, but that's one of the things that we had to do. So we did that. I have a window that's leaking from the rain. I got to take care of that. So I get an opportunity to do that. So just get yourself doing something. Start a craft. Start something new. Start something from nothing, and just kind of see what happens for you. There'll be nothing to comfort sinners in death. The people that don't believe in Jesus, they're going to die and be dead. People that do believe in Jesus, if you're a believer, then you have an extra thing that God said he would never leave us nor forsake us. So, and in Christ, we have nothing to cause us grief, nothing to disturb our peace, and nothing to fear in eternity. So really, from nothing, we can see ourselves become great. And I think that's a big deal. I really do. I think that's a big deal that, I used to actually sit around when I was a young person. I found a 45, and I think this was the first Beatles song I ever heard was Nowhere Man. And it was the single on a 45, but I think Nowhere Man's actually on the Yellow Submarine album. So if you ever go look that up, check that out. And it says, he's like, I'm a real nowhere man sitting in my nowhere land, making plans for nobody. So I really had, when I was young, a mindset, not because my parents told me I was nothing, but it's just something I developed. Don't know why. I don't know if it was friends or if it was teachers or what it was, but I always felt like I wasn't going to really amount to anything. And then, come to find out, I got a great family. I got my mom was good to me. My dad was good to me. I didn't really live, in poor that I'm aware of. My parents never told us any different than that. But I always had this thing in my head that, man, I'm kind of nothing. And, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up, and when I did have friends, I always overstepped my bounds because, I don't know, they call it ADHD and all that stuff now, so I would just kind of do stuff that probably wasn't the most appropriate because I was constantly moving and constantly doing stuff, and come to find out, hey, like I said last time I was on here, I'm me. Deal with it. And so the friends I have now, they deal with that, and I think it's fantastic. I still get loved, and I believe my God loves me, and just as I am and who he created me to be. And but something that's interesting, talking about God again, this is in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, 26 through 28. It says, "For you see your calling, brethren, not that many wise according to the flesh, but many mighty, not many noble are called. But God has chosen the foolish things of the world to put to shame the wise, and God has chosen the weak things of the world to put to shame the things which are mighty. And the base things of the world and the things which are despised God has chosen, and the things which are not, to bring to nothing the things that are." To bring to nothing the things that are. So out of nothing things are built. This is I believe this is the same verses in the New Living Translation. It says a little bit different. It says, "Remember, dear brothers and sisters, that few of you were wise in the world's eyes, or powerful or wealthy, when God called you. Instead, God chose things the world considers foolish in order to shame those who think they are wise, and he chose things that are powerless to shame those who are powerful. God chose things despised by the world, things counted as nothing at all, and used them to bring nothing what the world considers important." So listen, I'm going to read that again. So God chose things despised by the world, things counted as nothing at all. And as a result, no one can ever boast in the presence of God. So he brought the people that thought they were nothing to something. He brought the people that are down and out. He brought the people that were low in spirits. He brought the people that were afraid. I remember I grew up with my mom. We were I would call probably an acting family. She did a lot of theater, so we got kind of pushed into doing theater, and so I had to do a lot of acting roles, kind of without, hey, guess what? You're casting this part. Oh, thank you, Mom. But actually, in the long run, it actually taught me. I was afraid to stand in front of people. It was a big fear, and I thought, well, if I'm going to amount to nothing, or if I'm going to be nothing, why would I be in front of all these people? And then next thing you know, I'm a youth pastor, and I'm all these other things, and God really put me in a position to be able to do stuff and influence people in some way, shape, or form. And I thought, man, I came from nothing. I didn't have a plan when I got married to grow up and do anything. I just was going to do whatever it took, and kind of did that. And then turns out, hey, I got a good family. I think I mentioned that last time I was talking to you guys. But even if you're low in spirits, we feel we're nothing that really matters. And I'm telling you today that if you're sitting on your couch and you're still in your pajamas, and you really kind of feel like, man, nothing, I can't really do anything. I'm not allowed to go out. This whole process is junky and crappy and whatnot. But hey, guess what? God's got you. God will lift you up, and he will take you to other levels. He'll even give you new ideas. He will introduce you to somebody that'll get you out of your place. If you need to talk to somebody, hey, write a message down there. I'll do what I can. And, but when we feel at our weakest, that's when God works the strongest. When I received Christ back in, I think, 1999, 2000, and when I say that was my for real change. I was in a place, I was an alcoholic, I was all kinds of things, had issues, my marriage was falling apart. It was just a horrible situation, and, I found myself in a bad spot, and so bad, I thought my wife was going to leave me, and other things, which means the kids would disappear and all kinds of stuff. And I really found that, God really can pull you up out of the gutter and change you. So just when you think I got nothing, God will inspire you. Just when you think I am nothing, God will lift you up. Just when you think I can't, God will say you can. The fact that nothing is impossible with God should get you excited that there is limitless possibilities for you. Should get you excited for that. Limitless possibilities. And I think, here's a good example. Easter's coming up around the corner. Like I said, go to Generations Church and search for their stuff. They got a great thing going on. And but here's a great example. Last Sunday was Palm Sunday. Jesus comes into town. He is the man. They're waving him with palm fronds and branches. They're laying him out. He's riding in on a donkey, and he's just going in. Jesus is the man. And within a week, he's about to get crucified. And that's when he goes to the Rock of Gethsemane. Within a week's time, he's put from way up here to down here, from a high to the very, very low of lows. And you got to think, if he went through that, even if you don't believe in it, if you know somebody that has been at the very top and fell all the way down back to the bottom, that somebody or something inside of you will raise you back up. And I believe God's that thing that gets inside of you to raise you back up and put you in a position. And he will put you back into position, either back into position where you were before, or he will better it. I remember a time in my life, I went from having lots of money to having no money within 3 weeks, because I didn't realize I was living check to check. But I had a really good job. I had really good stuff. We didn't even glance at what cost anything. We just wrote the check, and we knew it wouldn't bounce. We were in a position like that. And the next 3 weeks were like, oh no, we can't do that anymore. But I'll tell you what, I lost my cars. I came this close to losing my house. And I literally, a friend of ours donated money to the church so that we could put a down payment on a car, and we could barely pay for that payment when it came in. And now I got, just the blessings that have come. I still have my house. I have a truck. My wife has a car that's paid off. I ride my motorcycle. My daughter has her van. We got 3 grandkids living with us, and everything's okay. And even in this season, we're sitting in a place where, hey, everything's still going to be fine. I happen to, like I say, if I wasn't on disability, I'd be an essential worker. And my wife's a teacher, so our salaries wouldn't have disappeared. But we stop and look at the blessings that God's put into us, and we have to be able to say, hey, where was I when that happened? How low did I go before I had to rise back up again? And Jesus went so far down that he went into the tomb. He died on a cross, and he went into the tomb. That's how low his life got. He took the stripes on his back. He took the beatings. He had his beard pulled out. All those things that you read about in the Bible. And you see those things, and then Jesus rises again. He shows himself to 500 plus people and says, here I am. I am here for you. I will lift you up, and I will take you out of that place, and I will put you back where you belong. And I just totally believe that he can pull you out of that nothing feeling. So when I say I'm sitting here, I'm going to talk about nothing today, that's the kind of nothing I'm talking about. If you feel like you're in a place where you just feel like nothing, you got to know that this thing will end. God will conquer all. This thing will end. We'll all come out of our homes, and we will high five, hug, kiss, and do all the things that we do, and we will just continue to enjoy life. So what I'm telling you is continue to enjoy life where you're at. Don't get yourself down. And if you are getting yourself down, find something, read the Bible, read a good book, watch a good movie, do something that's going to lift you up and get you in a place where you come out of that nothing feeling. And like I said, I just wanted to say thank you guys for liking and subscribing to 100% Richard. And it's made me feel really good. I got like 30 some views on my last podcast, and 24 on the very first one. So thank you very much, just for you guys out there that are watching and paying attention. And once again, thank you so much. And I'm out. Right on.